You will also be asked to decide at the ballot box on Tuesday whether or not to change the system of picking higher court judges in Missouri.
Missouri's courtrooms have protected everyone equally under the law, but special interests want to change Missouri's constitution and tip our scales of justice. They're pushing Amendment 3 because they don't like nonpartisan courts they can't control. Amendment 3 gives politicians the power to pick our judges.
It's political manipulation of the Missouri court system, hand-picking judges behind closed doors in secret. Dominated by personal injury lawyers who contribute millions of dollars to politicians to buy power and handpick our judges. It's time to stop the trial lawyers and backroom deals.
Ads from both sides of Missouri Constitutional Amendment 3, which gives the governor more authority over the picking of Court of Appeals and Supreme Court judges in Missouri. If you vote yes, what difference would this make to the way the system works now?
It would mean that there would be a different mechanism involving the Senate and approval for judges at the appellate and the Supreme Court level, rather than the panel selected by the bar, which is submitted to the governor in some other ways. And I think, but the key thing to remember is those who want to change the way the judges are picked backed out of this race.
Yeah, Jason
because they decided that the
right.
ballot language was too much to overcome. So there hasn't really been the debate on this that you expect.
Why did they back out?
Well, the Republican legislature wanted this on the ballot, but they left it up to the Democratic Secretary of State, Robin Carnahan, to write the language of the ballot. Then they weren't happy with the way the language was written. And so they've kind of stepped back. They're not really pushing it. I think the bar associations have come out very much against this. They feel like the Missouri plan and the current way we select judges is a model for the nation. So I think, frankly, those who want this change really are not pushing very hard for it, and it may set the stage for them to come back next year and propose direct elections of judges, which will be a whole other fight.
And let me just say, we should be very clear. The fight over how judges are picked is extraordinarily active across the country. It will
and
be
in Kansas.
The single biggest issue in next year's legislative session will be picking judges. So the Missouri vote, again, is a good barometer of where the people are.
But that is including with the Governor Sam Brown back in Kansas. Though.
Yes. Yes.
Let's make this clear right now. Trial court judges in the state of Missouri are elected by partisan election. This is taking the checks and balances out of the judicial system with respect to the Supreme Court and the appellate court. And it's conservative groups, the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, that want to have these to become more like political appointees. People who either run for office or that elected officials are picked, because they don't worry about what's happening at the trial court. They want judges stacked in these courts that are going to rule on the constitutionality of things like abortion or gun control or tort reform. And that's
but don't they feel it's a small range of attorneys, a small subset of attorneys who are deciding who these higher court judges are going to be now? And that is a narrow subset of the population?
Well, that's what they say, but these people aren't elected, so they aren't subject to special interests that are funding elections. So would you rather have the attorneys, or would you rather have the money of special interests electing and choosing these people?
Well, of course, the other side would say attorneys are a special interest and that they have some vested interest in how judges are picked, and that's why they're involved. Education is another issue on the Kansas side. This is a very important thing that people need to be paying some attention to, regardless of what happens next Tuesday.
And you are going to be having to make a selection there on